Aluminium Adjuvants and Childhood Health, Why Reassuring Isn't Scientific. Hello, I am Dr. K. Paul Stoller, and in July 2025, a massive Danish study of 1.2 million children was published in Annals of Internal Medicine. Headlines quickly followed, claiming that aluminum adjuvanted vaccines were safe with no increased risk of 50 chronic diseases. But a new peer-reviewed paper, published shortly afterward, delivers a very different message. That conclusion is not scientifically justified. The Danish study claims reassurance, but reassurance only matters if a study is actually capable of detecting harm. According to multiple experts in aluminum toxicology, neurodevelopment, autoimmunity, and epidemiology, and this study wasn't, not because the cohort was small, it was enormous, but because it asked the wrong questions, measured exposure incorrectly, and built bias into its design. Big data does not fix bad assumptions. First, aluminum adjuvants are inert. They are biopersistent particles known to remain in the body, migrate to the brain, and activate immune and inflammatory pathways. Yet the Danish authors largely ignored decades of animal, cellular, and human research showing aluminum accumulation in brain tissue, neuroinflammation, autoimmune phenomena, and behavioral changes. Instead, they relied on outdated models and irrelevant exposure studies like dietary aluminum or blood levels, which do not reflect what happens when aluminum is injected. That's not a minor oversight, it's a foundational error. Second, aluminum exposure was never actually known. The study assumed aluminum dose based on manufacturer reports, but independent research has shown huge variability between vaccine batches, sometimes several-fold. Body weight was ignored. Timing of exposure was ignored. Critical neurodevelopmental windows were ignored. Different aluminum compounds were treated as if they were identical. In toxicology, that's indefensible. If you don't know who received how much, when, or in what form, you cannot make safety claims. Here's where things get truly alarming. The study found that higher aluminum exposure appeared to protect against autism, ADHD, allergies, asthma, and autoimmune disease. That should stop any scientist cold. There is no known biological mechanism by which aluminum is protective. None. When a toxin appears beneficial across multiple diseases, it's a classic sign of systemic bias, not discovery. The study also excluded children who became ill, early children who died premature infants, highly exposed children, children diagnosed before age 2. In other words, many of the children most likely to show harm were removed from the analysis. Yet the authors still generalized their conclusions to all children. That is not cautious science, it's overreach. This paper does not claim aluminum adjuvants are definitively harmful. What it says, clearly and correctly, is this. The Danish study does not demonstrate safety. Its methods are incapable of detecting important risks. Presenting it as reassuring evidence misrepresents the data. Good science doesn't silence uncertainty, it confronts it honestly. And when it comes to aluminum adjuvants in children's health, we are not there yet. If not now, when?